And we are live, and howdy doody, and good afternoon, everybody out there. I do apologise. I am flying by the seat of my pants today because Sid's gone on a hiatus for a while. Samuel's not able to make it with us today because he's fixing rotten wood on his house. Shane's on his way because he's had to help Mum. So at the moment, you just got me and Cashy, and this glorious Sunday afternoon. Glorious Sunday afternoon. Oh, mate, I can't even get in my front garden at the moment. It's that hot.
I know it's roasting. I was sat in the fry house a minute ago when we were just starting off, and it's too warm. Sweat was beading up off me. And the water temperature is about 24 degrees, but it's about 35 degrees in there. So
well, since you brought the fry up, we might as well start with some questions for you then, because last year you tried spawning, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I'm doing this on that one, I think.
So you've spawned this time round, and what did you do different that you think brought more success?
I was patient. To be honest with you, I mean, look, last year I did document it on my channel, and I think, yeah, I made myself look a little bit of a mug with it, but ultimately it's sorry, Caroline's showing me the phone because she's got the comments on her phone. You'll just have to reply to people and say hello if they say hello, because I can't see it. That's all. I can't see the comments on my phone. Apologies. So yeah, I'm not the most patient person in the world at all. In fact, I'm terrible sometimes. And I did have a spawning. It was my first attempt at it. They were young fish. They definitely spawned. I didn't really know what I was looking for, if I'm being brutally honest. Don't get me wrong, I'd watched all the videos under the sun. Mark Gardner, massive inspiration. His videos certainly were a huge inspiration. But I got impatient. Didn't think it had any fry. Thought they were too young. Thought the male wasn't any good. And then it all come to nothing. Anyway, flushed the system out several times. Went to put some fish in there. Good couple of months later, and there's a couple of little fry bobbing about. So yeah, it did work. But so this year, I listened to Ricky. Really, to be honest, mate, I had a good conversation with Ricky down at New Forest when I was down there. With Scott. And I had a good chat with him, and he said, look, on the scale that you're doing it on for a hobbyist, you need to do this. You need to. Again, I didn't take all the spawning brushes out. And I should have taken some of the spawning brushes out and just left maybe 2 or 3 spawning brushes in there to hatch out. I left them all, and you think you've only got 1 or 2 fry, and the next thing is there's thousands of them, and that's when it becomes difficult to manage. But I think it's just watching the fish, understanding. Watch the fish. If they look like they spawn.
Difficult to manage in what way? And the reason I ask is because there's going to be a lot of people out there watching this that are going to be taking part in the ground show with a difference, and they're going to be working with 3 week old fry. So when you say it becomes a lot of work, in what way, from someone who's actually going through it, would you say?
Yeah, managing the water, I think. Is the critical bit. You've got to be really careful. In the initial stages, it's not too bad. They're not creating that much ammonia. After the initial spawning, and then after the initial hatching, you get some slight ammonia spikes.
Yeah.
After that, it starts to come down until they get to sort of 3 weeks old. Mine are just at that 3 week old stage now. I think mine were probably about a week ahead of Ricky. I think I was in hatching. Maybe even 2 days. But as soon as they start taking on food, the ammonia starts to come up then. And you've really got to manage that. I found using zeolite. I'm putting a bag of zeolite in, and I'm probably that zeolite or dropping it in the salt water once a week. I'm finding it, and I'm staying on top of it. And the ammonia is right down. Right down. And then it's managing the green water against stagnant water. There's a vast difference
Yes.
between it's green and something that's brown. So I decided to try and run it through an easy pod, run a slow trickle through an easy pod just to help out with that.
Yep.
And I kept finding fry. Didn't matter what I did, I kept finding fry in the easy pod. I'd wrapped the pump in all kinds of stuff, and they were still getting through. So again, you've got to find solutions to those things. You've got to keep it well oxygenated. You've got to keep the temperature up, and you've just got to monitor the water all the time. These guys, Ricky and the rest of them, the professionals, they make it.
Here he is.
Hi,
Howdy,
Shane,
howdy.
right?
How we doing, guys?
Good.
Right.
But yeah, but it's difficult, you know, and you will lose one or two. Don't get disheartened. You will lose one or two. That's why they have so many. You know, they're not designed for them all to survive. Yes, in the wild they get predated and some will die and things like that. But water, just watch the water constantly. That's the difficult bit.
You've managed to maintain the low ammonia levels then purely through water changes and zeolite.
Water changes and zeolite, yeah. So I'm starting to slow the water changes down a little bit now to a couple of times a week, and they were pretty much every day to start with, and then every other day, and it's just twice a week now. I'll do water change, but I'll do a decent water change. The fry tend to be able to take a greater degree of change in water temperature. Now, I'm not suggesting that people just go throwing them into buckets of cold water by any stretch, but what I found is if I drop sort of 20-30% of the water out and I fill it back up again through the tap, and then I use sodium disulfate mix. I use that at 3 grams per 1,000 litres, I think it is, something like that. But you can't overdose with it, so it's not too bad. But anyway, so I use that to dechlorinate, and I can go straight from the hose into the water and top that up, and there's no ill effects. Whereas I'd do that a little bit slower with. Again, it's okay with bigger fish, but with tozai, with smaller fish, not even tozai, you know, when they get to sort of 4 or 5 inches, you've just got to be a little bit careful with them. Anywhere between that 7 centimeters to 15 centimeters, those temperature changes tend to have effect.
Definitely. And I can relate to you with the impatience side of things, because I did it with my spawning, didn't I? I did the first spawning and I was convinced there was absolutely nothing there. So again, I dropped the water, didn't think about the washes, you know. I'd done the second spawning, which didn't go off without a hitch because I ended up losing my beautiful Shiro male. But did actually happen with the Chatsuri and the Tancho, who is now in koi heaven, you know. But when I started looking for the hatchlings of the second spawning, you come across, there was a few, they weren't from that spawning, and you could tell they weren't from that spawning because they were double the size, and in such a short space of time, there's no way they could have got to that size unless they were in what little bit of water was left and the brushes when I done the water change from what was the old front pond back into the pool. So
Absolutely. No, you're right. I mean, you'll get a few that go away a little bit quicker. I've just come into the fry house now, but you can't really the angle of the sun at this time of day isn't great for seeing them. But you can see the sort of the water. It's got a green tinge to it, but it's not. You can just about see to the bottom. So I can see plenty of fry, but the camera will never pick them up with the.
Not in that way.
No, absolutely not. But that's the setup I've got going on, and there's a bag of zeolite just down here. Like I say,
so are you still feeding brine shrimp, or have you got a Daphne colony going somewhere?
I've been using a powder feed as well as the brine shrimp from day one, or from day 3. Obviously, the first couple of 3 days they're good on their own. But I've been using a powdered mix with brine shrimp eggs I was putting a little bit of spirulina in there as well. And I've just started to grind up a little bit of Takazumi Junior Premium. Just to see how they go. But I actually set this up. Now I need to get some more eggs. I'll spin the camera around so you can see it. But in there's a colony of brine shrimp going on, and that's just a 100 litre water butt with an air stone in, 2.5 kilograms of salt, 100 litres of water. It's too hot in there. 100 litres of water, and away you go. And they're breeding quite happily in there. Then there's just not enough of them. Not getting enough to feed them all, but they're still getting the brine shrimp, and they'll keep on getting the brine shrimp and Daphnia when they're big enough to take the Daphnia.
Definitely.
The best food source possible. The brine shrimp eggs, if you soak them in some pond water, then they tend not to float. They'll drop into the water column, and the fish will hunt them like they would with.
Right. Is that decapsulated brine shrimp, or is that just straight
encapsulated? Yeah. You can buy, bags, but it's amazing how many you will go through.
I used to use them myself. Yeah. Soak them in water first.
Yeah, soak them in first, and then when you put them in, they tend to float around in the water column. The baby brine shrimp would. The baby brine shrimp aren't much bigger than the brine shrimp eggs.
No.
Obviously, because they've just come out of it. So, but they tend to react the same way to them, and they're 57% plus protein.
I used a lot of those last time round when I did my spawning, the decapsulated, and I found I got the best effect from the fry out of the decapsulated brine shrimp by actually dropping them into the air stone column.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
It kicks it out, but then it gives it that movement that the fry are after. Yeah. Because a lot of it it's not smell or taste, it is literally movement
what they see.
Exactly
that they go for.
Yeah, everything I feed, I toss over the top of the air stone, and then it just pushes it out, drags it down into the water column, spins it around.
That's exactly what I do as well with the small pond. Just literally the food always goes straight over the air stone.
You'll see, I think Rick mentioned it as well on one of the lives that you did at New Forest. You can tell when they're hungry because they all start hovering around the air stone, and you can actually see them all in a big circle around the air stone. Off and hunting away. You can't really see it in them now. In the early stages, you could see the brine shrimp, and they were a lot more translucent, but they're starting to colour up now. And I'm happy to say that there's a lot of light-coloured ones in there, which is really good. So not too many mirror, a few more soragoi.
You wait till they get a bit bigger, Mush.
Yeah.
The thing is,
there was a question that popped up, guys, whilst we were on the subject back there. Can anyone explain how a zeolite is used and applied?
Yeah. Do you want me to?
Go on then. You're the one.
You're using it.
Yeah. So zeolite's it's a natural
stone.
It's a stone. That wasn't the word I was looking for, though. But anyway, it'll come to me. So it's a stone, and what it does is it has a property to be able to absorb toxins and anything else out of the water in tiny little pores. And what it does is it absorbs the ammonia out of the water until the point it becomes saturated. Then it just doesn't work anymore. It doesn't release it back into the water, but it doesn't absorb it anymore. So you have to give it when you get it. It's all got powder on it and what have you. It's a mineral, naturally occurring mineral.
That's the one.
So when you get it in a bag, you have to give it a good rinse because it's full of powder and everything else. Give it a really, really good rinse. And then what I do is I use the bags that the good lady gets to put her bra in to put in the washing machine. It's like a net bag.
Yeah, another one, the zippy bags.
Yeah, that's it. They're absolutely brilliant. I fill one of them ram jams, fill it up to the brim, zip it up, just drop that straight into the pond. It normally can last up to 2 weeks. I'm changing it on a weekly basis at the moment, just so it doesn't absorb too much.
Yeah.
And then all you do is you really, really strong salt water solution. I take it out of the bowl, give it a hose off because it'll have got a bit of green in, a bit of detritus. Hose it off with tap water, drop it into the water. Only needs 24 hours in the salt water. And what salt does is it gets that goes back into the zeolite, and it basically breaks down the ammonia in the whole zeolite and pushes the ammonia back out again.
Mm-hmm.
So so your zeolite is then recycled. It's ready to go.
Be able to reuse it again. Yes, definitely.
And it's expensive either. So if you get a big bag of it, you can fill maybe 2 or 3 of those zippy bra bag things, and just rotate them. So if you've got new pond syndrome, if you're ammonia in a bit, just drop a bag of zeolite in. Just make sure if you've got a deep pond, you get it on a piece of string or a rope or something back out again, because it's a pain in the backside trying to fish it out with a bit heavy.
Yeah, where were you though, Cash? With the pool as well. Even if you had one of the deeper pools, you just tie a rope around it, have the rope coming over, and just tie it to one of the legs.
Yeah.
That
absolutely.
way, it's fixed in there. But also, guys, if you don't want to go out searching for the bra bags, you could always use the vegetable sacks that you get from Lidl.
Any shop nowadays, they're all doing it, aren't they? Charging you about 50p for one of these material bags because they're too tight to put plastic paper bags in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything, let the water freely flow through it. That's
definitely.
So,
see, my only dilemma is I've now got 2 vats set up, i.e. the IBC tank is set up, ready to fire up filter wise, but it is absolutely teeming now with a real nice colony of Daphnia.
Right. Yeah.
Now I've got the little sponge filters and the K1 micro going in the vat. That's now sitting at 27 degrees, which is also teeming with Daphnia that are breeding like motherfuckers at the moment.
Oh, they will. Once they get past 21 degrees, they will go absolutely rampant.
I keep badgering Rick for a saggy fry. Yeah. So my thought was I could put the saggy fry in the vat that's over there, or put some saggy fry in the IBC tank, put my ground show with a difference in the vat, and give people a fighting chance. Yes, I'm throwing the gauntlet out the window. Catch it if you want. Game on. But yeah, at the moment, where it comes to the ground show with a difference, I've got, there's going to be a temperature difference, but I could do a first selection as soon as they arrive here and say, right, I'm going to put all the black ones in the tank, as in the little tank opposite me in the vat, and then everything else will be white or orange, and then chuck them into the IBC tank. That way I've automatically dropped down any load that's going to be on that little vat. So in effect, I've done a first cull instantly, but at the same time, I've still got the rest to progress a little bit more before I decide what I'm going to do with them.
Yeah.
Can you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Or failing that, say, right, give everyone a fair chance and just put my ground show with a difference fry straight into the IBC tank. Let them grow for a few weeks and then do a first selection on them, which would also leave the vat empty for some asagi fry. So can you see where I'm going with this?
There's you saying it leaves it open for an asagi fry, right? But you could also take it down the other line of, okay, I'll leave that running as is with all that Daphnia and everything else in there, that is still gonna be multiplying.
Yeah.
So that when you come to do the selection, your lowest number, whether it be white or the whites, the yellows, or the black ones, they then go into that, and they're going into a heavily dense Daphnia feeding frenzy.
Yeah.
You took that into a completely different direction than I thought you was going.
I agree with Shay. I think if you can leave it,
I honestly, sorry, Cashy, I honestly thought you was going to say, leave that empty, get a pool in your front garden, spawn your own fish, and then you've got that for them.
No, because I know for a fact you're not allowed to.
But Susan is considering letting me do it.
What, the Snurasagi?
No.
I knew she wouldn't let you do that one, yeah.
She said, well, the Shiro.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the Shiro? She is eggy as fuck. I mean, you can see as soon as you see that back end, she is. So she's on about me spawning her just to try and slim her down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I was chatting with Rick, and I mentioned spawning the Ginrin Nuts Kawabaki with the Kiatsuri. Yeah. And I expected his response to be, why the fuck?
Yep. But
no. His quote words were, not till after the show. So Feck knows what he's got in mind, but yeah, he said no, not until after the show. So it's not could you just imagine a key not Starbucky?
Mm-hmm.
it'd be nice. It'd be nice if they do.
Wouldn't it? He still can't see my vision with the Snurasagi and the Shiro though.
I think only you can.
Yeah.
Oh mate, honestly, just picture it, right? You've got that perfect lateral line that is red. Beautiful red. The head pattern is there. You've got a pearl white top with a Shiro pattern. Bang, straight over the top. I think that, like I said to Alan Tate, I said we could call it Snow Tiger.
You could call it what you like. I just don't think it'll do it.
I don't think it'll come out the way you're envisioning it.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I tell you what, though, it'd be nice to. I'd love to be proved wrong.
You know me. I always like a challenge.
I think it would look stunning. What you're describing would look stunning. It would be beautiful. I just don't think knowing. I mean, I've never spawned Shiros. I'm certainly like I am very much an amateur hobbyist, very much so. But having read up about Shiros and spoken to Ricky and various other people about Shiros, they are very, very unreliable. In terms
you've got to make sure you get a net over them and when they're spawning and things like that, because they're naturally known for.
Oh, they'll be out.
Oh, that's just anything Asagi related are just fucking psychotic.
Yeah, they're just absolutely bad.
Because there is a lot of people out there that don't realise that when you actually look at the koi family tree, you've got your original fish, and it's either the second or the third generation.
Yeah, Asagi. Yeah,
Asagi are one of the oldest varieties in the koi world.
Yeah, one of the first.
Which is why they are
the first one.
Absolute psychos, because they are so closely related to the wild version. Can you see what I mean? I mean, Ricky will tell you the same. Anything that's got a Asagi in it turns fucking psychotic.
Yeah.
Who was it? Oh, it was Davey, Black Country Koi bloke. And that was, I had a gap. down that back fence there. Yeah. We were netting my fish up to check sexes on them. And honestly, as soon as that fish hit that pan net, it must have gone up that net and about 3 foot up in the air, landed on the decking, and almost went down the back. Man, I got across there without getting wet in a split fucking second. That thing was back in the pond before Susan walked out the kitchen. My fucking heart was giving it. Fucking Dave used to there, fucking couldn't believe it. Honest to God. But
So
yes,
Size turned around and said, "Would you not get a lot of cargo, Shiro?"
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
There you go.
but that's as much as I love Cargay at Ceres, because the latest video I showed Ricky, he actually said to me, "When did your kit Ceres start going Cargay?" And it is slowly but surely coming out in the center of the scale.
Jigs, I'm just going to put that up because I will not pronounce that.
Do you mean Kanoko Asagi, Jigsy? Because Kanoko Asagi
Good
are
attempt,
just, mate, honestly, there is just something about Kanoko Asagi and Snow Asagi, you know.
I don't think I've actually seen one.
And it just turns out, you know, the non-Ginrin one that I've got. Yeah, the one that the only reason it's not going to the show because of that stupid black spot. I was hoping that was male, because then I would have had 2 different bloodlines of Snow Asagi.
Yeah.
To put together. The bitch is fucking female.
But you have to sell her, mate.
Not fucking hope. Not fucking hope.
I could try. Come on, guys. I could try.
I've got a fucking great, huge female Oya Asagi in the pond that has absolutely no fucking red. Beautiful, clean head on her. She is absolutely no red. I mean, the
That's the one
Matsuma
that you bought, but it just literally just.
Instead of coming up like it's supposed to have done, like everyone says, buy an Oya Asagi. Get it where they've only got a little bit of red, because the red will come as it gets bigger. Fucking did it not? No.
Yeah.
No.
It went backwards on you.
Solidly looking better though.
That's a plus.
But she definitely won't be going to the national.
That's where I've seen it before. Yeah. They were the first produced Asagi on the family tree.
Yeah, but they are right at the start. Asagis are
right at the top line.
Yeah, they are some of the original koi. Here's a quick sneak peek, and then I'll have to jump out of here because I'm in another greenhouse now, and it's absolutely screaming here. But a very quick.
I bet.
A sneak peek of the next.
Ooh. Is that a big Karashigoi by any chance?
It's a big
like
Ginring shag.
Oh,
Ginring shag and a Ginring Sorogoi.
Ginring Sorogoi.
He's about Ginring Sorogoi female, Ginring shag male. It's about 23 degrees in there at the moment, the water. So what I'll do is I'll drop the water down.
You taking your Ginring Sorogois to the national?
Not this year, no. That's the one. That's
well, you might as well now. I can't take mine.
Oh
no, he's gone.
Signal because it's bouncing off all the glass. There we go. Now he's away from the glass. He's back.
Did you hear that?
Am I taking him to the national? Did you say?
Yeah.
No, not this
I said,
year.
well, you might as well take your Ginring Sorogois now that I can't.
You're not taking her now. I know she was. Mate,
I can't. I can't. Even though it's going down and it's starting to look nice, she's actually got right by her, just back from her dorsal, She's got a black line where she's either bashed up against the blade, or when she's hit the side or whatever, she caught that as well. So yeah, there's absolutely no hope she's going to be ready to go to the show. So yeah, you might as well take yours because you've got no competition now.
Well, to be honest, I did say when last year when I took them is that the reason for doing it really was to make sure the fish would have sufficient quality to breed from. They were, in my view, but I wanted to make sure that that they were. And the female that's in there took the first in size in class. She's just started to develop like a little bit of secondary sumi on the shoulder. I think you actually the other week and said, is it turning into a Shiro Sorogoi, Ginrin Sorogoi? I don't think so. I think it's just a bit of secondary sumi that's come up on her shoulder, which is unfortunate, but it doesn't detract anything from fish change as they get older, and there's a certain point in time where they're show worthy, and the next year they may not be. All fish, unless you've got a single coloured fish that's not Ginrin and not got any shimmies or anything else, then they're very rarely the same fish year on year. Yeah. Very rarely. So now I'll be showing different things this year with the same mind.
15 centimeters and above, Will.
Yeah, 15 and above.
Yeah. So your first size class, which is size class 1, is 15 centimeters to 25 centimeters, and that fish in that one fish in that size category will cost you 1 point. Depending on what size vat you've got, depends on how many points you've got. Well, including the Sorogoi, I had 14 fish I was going to take with a total of 40 points, with 11 points to spare. But that's down by 1 now already.
Yeah.
Fucking the amount of people that have actually messaged me personally and said, can't wait to see your Sorogoi, can't wait to see Big Betty, and just gutted. Gutted.
Yep.
But you showed at the National last year for the first time. Yeah. How did you find it, and what did you learn from your first experience? And in that, what would you advise anyone that is showing their fish for the very first time?
So I think don't be put off. I think if you think you've got fish that are worthy of showing, show them. The more people that show them, the more people that go to these things, the bigger the hobby becomes, the more interested in the hobby people become. And certainly if it's not Goshanki, then it spreads the gospel for all the other types. I'm not a fan of Goshanki. I know that's probably unpopular, but yeah, I want the stuff that everybody else hasn't got, really. But in terms of the show, I think there's a lot of misconceptions and preconceived ideas of koi snobbery, of the BKKS and various other things. I have to say, from the moment I arrived to the moment I left, they were fantastic. They knew it was my first show. They couldn't have been more helpful. I was delayed, not through any fault of my own. I was delayed benching on the Friday.
Yeah.
I was way past time. And Matt, who is the show chairman this year, he was in charge of the vats and the benching last year, and he was superb. Him and his team couldn't have done more to help. They were excellent. They really were. So I wouldn't be concerned about it. People will help you out. There's no doubt about that. They were brilliant. As far as the show goes, the guys look after the water as best they can. They do a great job of that. The fish are well cared for. The fish are well looked after. And for me, it was really well organised. I know there were a few issues. Some people had a couple of issues, various bits and bobs. But I think with an event like that, there's always going to be something.
Yeah, there's always got to be something. You can't get everything perfect, can you? But while we're on the subject of the BKKS, come on, guys. And that's not just because I'm showing. That's because I believe that the only way this hobby is going to survive is by being part of something. And the only thing that really counts is Britain. And that's
Yeah.
what this is. A membership to the British Koi Keepers Society. You know, it's not even 30 grams of tobacco, because that is 1996, because I know, because that's what I smoke. It's not even a 20 pack of cigarettes. You know what I mean? And there's plenty of you out there that pay, I think it's $9.99 a year for koi control.
I was just about to ask earlier, later on, how much is koi control? You to get it from mine.
And also gives you a discount going into the national or any events held by the BKKS. The more people we can get to join it, the more, well, the way I was taught and the way I put it is, if you're not involved, you can't have a fucking say.
Yeah.
Because if you've not got the balls to say, right, I've become a member, I think, you know, and there's plenty of people out there that slag off the BKKS and absolutely know nothing of what they do and what they go through to put on these events.
I think if you take the show and you see what goes on and you speak to the guys there, they're all extremely knowledgeable. They're all extremely helpful. I honestly, they could not have done more for me last year, as far as I'm concerned. Matt was superb. Emma, there she does the front of house bit as well, I think. You know, they're all brilliant. They were spot on. But my advice for anybody showing for the first time is plan ahead. You might not know, really 6 weeks before, you need to know which fish you're taking so as you can get the feeding regime right before them. Because I think that's important to make sure that the fish look the best. If you've got to show them, you want them to look the best. So you need to be feeding them up. And then, you know, sort of 3-4 weeks beforehand, get them on the weak germ, just tightens the skin up a little bit, puts a bit more of a gloss on. And then certainly 7 days, no less than 7 days before, stop the feed. So they're not ammonia when they go into the show vats. Some people split the fish up, so obviously you're not stopping feeding everything in your pond. If you have got a spare pond, then you can put your show team, if you like, in that pond, then all the better. And do that. Get there.
The whole team will suffer the fate of the whole the whole pod will suffer the fate of the team, you know. If they have to go without for 7 days, they'll go without for 7 days, you know.
That's it. Some people only have one pond and can only do that. So you've got to manage it around what you've got. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. You do the best you can. But plan ahead, get there early to bench, you know, make sure you're there in plenty of time so you're not panicking fish around. If you're not used to bagging big fish as well, because, you know, people who don't keep koi often ask me, how do you get them to a show? How do you show a fish? How do you get it to a show? I said, in a bag, like you used to get a goldfish when you were at the fair when you were a kid. It's exactly that. That's how they do it. So, you know, double bag, make sure your bands are on, make sure you've got the correct elastic bands. Don't just use standard stuff because they will snap. And then you are flooded full of water and fish everywhere. If you're unsure how to do it, ask somebody who's done it. I'm sure they'll help you out. I'm happy to help anybody out who's not done it before. It's not difficult, but it is a knack. And if you don't know, it can be very daunting. And trying to bag a big fish can be quite difficult to do.
Especially
why
if
do you
they're
think I've got Ricky coming with me?
Say again, sorry.
Why do you think I've got Ricky coming with me?
Exactly. And if you've got a compressed air tank or oxygen tank, use that. If not, just use your air stone or pull the pipe off your air stone, put that in the bag and put the bag in. And really, as a general rule of thumb, you want a third water, 2/3 air as a general rule of thumb. They don't need the water, they need the air. So as long as when that bag's lying down, there's enough water to cover the fish's back, then for the distances you're traveling, nobody's really traveling huge distances to Coventry, I guess. It's centre of England. it's the Heart of England showground. So
yeah.
More than 3 hours, you'll be fine.
The two for me that I was daunted with was Betty and the Soragoi, but Soragoi is not going now. But yeah, Rick's doing the weekend with me, as is at the moment Susan as well.
Excellent.
Yes. So yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be an absolutely beautiful weekend like we got now, because that would make it sweet.
You have to go where you have to take a jar with you, and then go round the vats of the absolute monster Sankey. There was one next to me last year, absolutely stunning fish. You know, up to sort of 8 centimetre range of go Sankey, and they decided to spawn. I was like, I've got a jar. Can we some of them eggs?
Yeah. Scoop.
Yeah, like quail eggs. I was thinking I'm going to have some of them and put them in a. Let's see if we can get them.
But yeah, get back from the national, and then I've got to decide what I'm going to do with my fish and then my pond.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. At this present moment in time, I am going to be moving out the easy pods.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed you've taken an easy pod off of your pond, Cashy. Why was that?
I just can't. Firstly, easy pods are great. Easy pods are good, but if you want to get more feed in the short period of time we have to throw the feed in, they will not cope with that amount of food going in now. And an easy pod they recommend for ponds, I think up to 10,000 litres. That they'll do 10,000 litres. I think in reality, I wouldn't want to go any bigger than 10,000 litres at 5,000 litres an hour through. I think Danny O'Flaherty at My Boys Koi reckons the sweet spot's around about 3,000 litres an hour through a pod. I think I would agree. I think somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 litres an hour through the pod is about its sweet spot. I think any more, it's not in there long enough. Any less, you're not turning your pond over quickly enough anyway. So it won't cope with the bio load that you're going to try and put on it. If you just want to keep fish and you want to keep them in good condition, then
I don't know. It copes. Easy pod on the Tosai tank copes really well, and at the moment I'm charging 10,000 litres an hour through that.
Yeah,
on the main pond, I got a 20,000 on the bottom drain.
Yeah.
And that's running at 40%.
Yeah.
And at the moment, with the temperature and the feeding, I'm having to clean that easy pod every other day.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah, you will.
I'm only going to get more. And I am at this present in two minds whether to use the drum from the forest or say fuck it and build myself some chambers.
I have to say my favourite filter. I mean, the 220's only just gone on, so we'll see how that goes. But my favourite method of filtration that works is a good old school multi-bay.
100% will.
It just works, and it takes next to no maintenance. I stripped that down the other day for the first time and gave everything a really good clean. And all I've got is Vortex brushes and then 3 bays of Jack matting. And I've got some watercress growing in it. I've got other bits and bobs in there. And that pond is the one where I've the least issues with. I very rarely get any problems in there. Yeah, the parasites that everybody else gets, but certainly not in the volume I get in the other ponds. I've got plants floating in it. And that's where I put the toes I go in there. I tend to use that as a quarantine pond as well, because any toes that I'm that are definite keepers, I'll grow on and get them into the main pond. So I tend to keep the stocking level quite low in there, and then they'll bring anything out if there's any issues with quarantine. and a different subject, but I'll only buy fish from people I know are doing the quarantine process right when they're bringing them in, or Ricky who's breeding them on the farm, and there's no issues.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Things I do before quarantine anyway, but not for discussion here. But yeah, that multi-bay. All I do then is I'll drain it down, hose out the vortex, hose off the brushes, probably blast the hose quickly across the top of the jack matting just to get any green, any slugs off the top of it. I don't take it out, I don't strip it down, I just drain it off and then let it go again. And then once a year, everything out, give it a damn good cleaning down. And then and put it all back together again, and that's it. And the water is always crystal clear, no dramas. And when I take it apart as well, I think it's something that's probably important to note is when you take it apart, it needs a clean. It's got to that point where it needs to, but it doesn't stink. You don't get. There's a difference between a pond needing cleaning and a pond being stagnant, or a pond being green and a pond being stagnant. And it's the same with your filter. You know it's wrong when it smells. It shouldn't smell. It shouldn't stink. It'll have a pondy smell
until you empty it, and then you retch your guts up.
Yeah, it stinks. If it's bad, it stinks, and that's when you're going to have problems. Then, if it smells, clean it, because definitely clean it. It shouldn't get to that point, but if you've got a smell in there, then you're going to have bacteria, because it's the bacteria shit basically that's given.
This is the detritus.
Yeah. See, what I'm thinking is if I don't use the filtro, then I'll probably put a settlement chamber in. Either way, it'll either go through the filtro and then to the pumps, and then up from the pumps through the Tempest, spray bar down over the shower, and then a huge active chamber, which will then gradually feed back to the pond. So it's what I put in front of it is the one. Do I put the filtro drum on there and then not have to worry about it? And I know they aren't the be all and end all, and you do have to do maintenance, but you know what I mean. I can concentrate more on my fry and everything else. The amount of time I'm spending down the forest now as well, it. But at the same time, looking how the filters are running in the Mega Munga tunnel, it makes me rethink. Maybe put a static chamber in there on standpipes like I used to have.
Yeah, I mean, look, you look at what Rick does at the forest and how sort of basic and rough and ready the filter systems are. I've been over to Yeshikigoi in Poland. It's very, very similar over there. If you look at the filters, the Koi collection in Coventry is
perfect example. There's a different pond running in a different system in a different way on every fucking pond in that place.
Exactly. But if it works, it works, and that's the thing. I think as well, people, and I'm certainly one of those people. Certainly early on, is you can tinker. You can tinker too much. You can mess around with it too much.
That's the thing.
The thing with koi keeping, people ask me a couple of questions, and as I say, I am a very amateur hobbyist. I am, everything I've learned has been by trial and error. I've lost fish. I've grown fish. I've done, it's one of those things. And I think, like most people, it becomes trial and error. And what works for somebody doesn't work for somebody else. Absolutely crystal clear. Very little fact and a lot of opinion in koi keeping. So you have to kind of take the little bits from everybody and then trial it on your own system. And if it works, it works. If it works, tweak it, but don't keep tweaking it. I'm a sod for tinkering, and then it doesn't need to be tinkered with.
It's just like the old saying: if it's not broken, don't try and fix it.
Exactly, mate.
If it's working for you, then you've got no need to. Until you get to that point where whether it's overstock or and you need to add something on. That's completely different.
I think there's less. Again, somebody asked me the question the other day. Can I get more fish in here? Am I overstocked? This, that, and the other. And I think there is always a point where you are overstocked. But I think you're less likely to be overstocked and more likely to be underfiltered. Is probably the way.
Well, they kind of go hand in hand.
They do go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. But when people say I'm overstocked, most of the people that say to me, I think I'm overstocked, and you ask them what filter system they're running, and you say, well, you probably your water could cope with that many fish, but your filters won't. So you need to upgrade your filter system. I mean, you look at the toes icons in the farms and the breeders, and there's more fish than water in some of them. But again, fish look great, the water looks great.
It's all about manipulation.
Completely different scale. But it just shows you that if you're looking after it and the filter system's right for what you've got, and I think, as Shane said there, they go hand in hand. The filter system has to match your ambitions in terms of fish keeping. You need to be can't fill a pond with you can't literally have more fish than water. But you can stock it to a level of teaching. And it depends what you want. Do you want big fish, or do you want to grow fish on and move them on when they get big? What do you want to do with your pond?
That's where every pond's different, because every person is different. Some people will want maybe a mixture. They want a couple of their, their eye catchers.
Yeah.
And then they want a couple of the smaller ones in there to grow on to see whether they can get them to that size.
Yeah.
Then they've got their own personal challenge then.
Yeah.
If they can actually do it. See if they can actually manipulate the water to actually be able to do so.
Yeah. I can't see any of the comments, so just because I'm on the phone, so they're not popping up.
Yeah.
Gavel's saying, why not use upflows for your mechanical, and then a big moving bed? You've got the knack of doing upflows, yes. But if I was to do something like that, it would have to be just a basic static chamber that I could then flush to waste very quickly. So I'd have to have some kind of screen around the standpipe, because if I build something, it will be done with standpipes. It worked for the Eric 4, it worked for the Eric 3. Standpipe from one to the other, that stops your inflow of water. The rest goes straight to waste.
Yeah,
you can't get no more simple than that. So that's what I'm thinking, is a standpipe for the bottom drain and the skimmer, and they all go into one chamber. And then I've got separate standpipes to go to waste, flush the whole system out in one, hose brushes down if that's what I do, and then purge it, drop it, run it, But at the same time, because either way, whether I use a drum or I build the front stage, the pumps will be behind that. So either way, they will then be pumped from there up through the Tempest, over the shower, and then into a massive because I am going to overbuild the bio chamber, and then the returns will be 3-inch pipes.
Yeah.
So
I can more than quadruple my bio chamber.
Yeah.
Just
see where you're going.
Will
you go with 10 connectors, or will you go with the Union, the rubber sealer?
No. It'll be a 10 connector straight through the wall. The actual returns will come out literally where the top of the pond is. They will come out.
Oh, straight on top.
Stick over the pond and then just go straight out, and that will be my returns. But also means then every part of my filtration is indoors in the warm.
Yeah.
I won't have all this pipe work going down the side. Well, I will have a bit of pipe work going down the side, but we're not going to go into that one because
that's for a later one.
Well, I've got to get up there and I've got to measure the roof first. But yeah, I'm looking at a water solar panel going up there for the main pond.
Vince going even more technical, people.
No technology in it at all. No technology in it. What?
No, I know the ones he means. He means like the pipe work that basically goes on the roof, and then the sun just warms the pipe up and flows it back through.
Down at the farm, Rick and Sean have got these bloody great big black panels. And they're really thin. And then you've got a pipe that goes down over side.
Yeah.
You cap one end off, you can come in from one end, you can put it all the way through this thing, which is black, by the way, matte black. So if it's on the roof a day like today, where the pond is sitting at 19 degrees, I reckon if I was running it through that, I'd get another degrees.
Yeah.
So as well as the filter system, there's going to be some bypasses put in as well, because I'm hoping to put a water solar panel on the top of the Longbrook, so even more going in.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
And both of you have been a lot. Both of you have been here, and both of you have been in Longbrook. So yeah. If I do it the way I'm going to do it with chambers, then you will have a little bit more room going down the centre, because you won't have the return pipes kicking out.
Well, in a way, that's a good thing. I can eat one more pork pie.
So, how far are you off then, Shane? How many more blocks have you got to go in for tank number 1?
About 3, I think. 3 or 4. The old man's got to bring a bit more mix on. And we get that done, but all the corners are all tied in. So you know, you get the wires, bend them, put them on the 90s so that they're all tied in nicely. And then every time there's a half block, there's 2 ties, so it ties into the full block either side. Going with that, probably just because that one's just going to be a pump feed, I'm just going to go with a cheap liner on that one, just so I can save a little bit of money, because obviously doing with the bottom drain, I'm going to have to go with the rubber liner, which is about 220 quid.
You're going to go box weld?
Box weld was 340.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
You'd be better off doing like what
almost fiberglass in the basket.
Do what Matt done from Koi Central.
What, liquid liner?
No, he didn't. He didn't do the liquid liner. He used the My Pond MS 300.
Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant.
And he cut sections and then sealed it all together. That was butyl liner. I was actually
but it's more of the fact with the bottom drain as well. With that, one of the liners, well, a couple of the liners, they don't bond to the actual liner.
Yeah, they might not stick, but whatever sealant you use does form a gasket. Yeah, so that when you compress it down, you do still get a seal in between. Can you see what I mean? This bit might get loose and flap a bit, but you've got that sealed all the way around. You're with me?
Yep, I know what you mean. But also, I've got to look at started to upgrade the filtration on small pond, because that was a 7,000.
Not cutting it.
It's not cutting it. That would be all right for a small swimming pool.
Look, just do what Rick does. Go around, find a fucking empty wheelie bin. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, but Vince, you got to remember that one being where it is. I can't go too high.
Yeah,
because we want.
You can still get yourself.
I'm thinking like a small multi. Putting like a small multi or something like that in there, and then
on that
sticking
pond,
on the 8,000.
Exactly what Rick does. I would go.
To scoot off because my battery just flashed up at 5%. So before it dies, I'll
catch up with you later in the week. Cheers, bro.
Nice to see you again, mate. I'll catch you.
Yeah, and you, mate. Catch you later.
Bye-bye.
So on that one, it was either a case of multi or similar to, but then again, it's the height. I was thinking something like the cylinders, like Kashi's got on one of it. I think he's got it on one of his. You know, like the up, almost looks like an uplift kind of upflow.
Yeah, a bit like the ones I've got on the IBC tank and the air source heat pump?
Similar. I know. I can't remember what company do it. I think it might actually be Easy. Might be Evolution Aqua. But they do one which is, instead of it being like the normal size, it stands about 4 foot tall, and it's not that wide. I've seen a few people use them. Let me see if I can pull it up. If anybody in chat knows what I'm talking about.
I was talking to George Okai, the new George Fishing Lomond Koi. Go check him out, give him a subscribe. Anyway, he was talking to me about getting the Evolution Aqua Purge.
Yeah, I know the one that he means.
So from what I could work out, it's shorter than a Tempest.
Yeah.
It's black and it's got a UV in it. And there's a difference between the two of about 80 quid. A normal Tempest and the Purge.
Yep.
Yeah. And like I said to him, why don't you just get the normal fucking Tempest when you've got more media?
How we do it, Andy?
Which gives you more filtration, more surface area. And then your Easy Pod, you just go and buy a 13-watt Chinese drop-in UV and you put that in there. In fact,
who needs to go and buy one?
It hasn't. My UV has not been on
for the last
2 months now.
Mm-hmm.
And my water is still crystal clear.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of videos at the moment going out, mainly in the US, where they're not actually running. Obviously, they're only on like these small preform plastic, like the tank ones.
Yeah.
And obviously, they've got them absolutely pea green, and they're just doing little DIYs, filters with buckets and things like that, just for their small stuff. And even that's clearing it up without a UV.
Well, I had 2 fish tanks out there, didn't I?
That
I had going green. Now, both of them were absolutely green. I put the small one in the vat, and I put the big one in the IBC tank. So they are now absolutely teeming with live food. But that vat was green in color for, I think it was about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then it was crystal clear. And that is running little Oasis bottles with air-driven sponges on them and a bit of K1 micro.
Yeah. So the ones that I was talking about was the bio shower filters.
You got a picture?
Yeah, let me just
check it out. And I don't mean throw your guts up. So what's your plans for this week coming while you're trying to pull a picture up?
A little bit more painting when it gets a bit cooler tonight. Go in there to do a little bit more touch up on the ceiling, because what I'm doing is where the bottom of the CFL is, because obviously the roof itself is white. I'm just going in and just putting in, kind of making it kind of look a little like the old Tudor style. Where
right, with the beams and stuff.
Yeah. Just doing it like that, just to give a little edge. So when I then change the plastic on the right-hand side for perspex to get more heat, because it's got the black in there, it should then hopefully try and absorb more of it. So let me just share screen. Ding. That one.
We've got new neighbors.
So yeah.
Oh, radio shower. Yeah, they're bloody good bit skip.
Now I was thinking maybe putting one of them on a small pond. Because obviously I can use that
It,
UV.
is it full of media, or does it come with media? Is it new or second hand?
New.
Are you going to get a new one?
Well, potentially once I've saved up enough, because I've just seen the fucking price of them.
Does it come with media though? That's the issue. But while Shane's trying to find out if it comes with media, guys, I've been keeping koi for over 20 years now, and I have always been skeptical with the BKKS because my attitude was, well, what do you actually do with the coffee? Well, like I said, if you ain't part of it, you ain't entitled to have an opinion. Now, not even a packet of fags, guys. The more people join, the better the shows will become. Because the more people that join, the more funds that will be available, etc., etc., etc.
So this is what you want to see.
Right, yeah.
A crystal bio shower filter comes complete with 100 liters of crystal media, bio media.
Crystal bio. Ooh, yeah. Ricky gets a hard on over that stuff. Says it's awesome media.
Yep.
So how much is
100
that?
liters. So you can get the.
Are you looking at the smaller version?
Well, I'm just looking at the prices. So you've got the shower filter including 100 liter bio on the stone color for 49995, or you've got one there that has 50 liter, which is nearly 600. So that must be the larger one.
It's that crystal bio. It's expensive shit, but it is an absolutely brilliant media for having.
Can you just buy it in a bag?
Crystal bio.
Yeah.
You should be able to buy it separately, yeah. So if you can get the roto shower without the media, then you should be. I mean, you could put CSM in it, which is the stuff that I've got in my shower now.
Put a bit of
Depending
lava
on what steam
potentially.
Depending on what steam you put over it, you could even put alpha grog in it.
That's what I was thinking. I've got 15 kilo of that. It's
got a sieve. Its sieve is its mechanical filtration.
Yeah, I'll go down to the picture there for everybody to see.
In the top section, there is a sieve.
Yeah, so you got the vertical shower tube, and then you got the tube with sleeve. So there's two options. You can get it with sleeve or without sleeve. Sieve.
No, you definitely want the sieve in it.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But yeah, that would work brilliantly for your little pond, yeah.
Then obviously I've got to work out something as well for the pool, because the pool's allowed to stay up.
Sweet. There is one of those running in the Mega Munga tunnel. The only thing that's not in it is the sieve, and that is purely because of the amount of water that's being chucked over it.
We were saying on that reference, Vince, of the BKKS, I was speaking to someone midweek and they said to avoid it this year because of what happened with health and safety. That would be referring to what happened with Kopi.
Oh, right. Well, no, yeah, I can understand what
yeah, I can understand it completely.
I can understand it completely, but at the same time, I'm showing my fish there this year, so
yeah, exactly.
You know, it makes sense to. And at the end of the day, if it goes well, then I will do it again next year. And then,
so Cavi, if you want to know what happened, pop over to Kopi's Koi Chatting Bubbles. You'll see the video where he explains what happened for him personally. No point for us going into it because, one, I wasn't there. So all I can go by is Kopi's video. So if you want to know,
I was there. I don't know the ins and outs of it, which is why I won't go into it. And
no, that's why I just said just go over to Kopi's channel and have a look.
And I'm sorry, Dina, but that's the sort of thing that misunderstands people. You know, yes, there is probably some knobhead koi snobs in the BKKS. I'm not saying there isn't, but
no, it is in the hobby.
One thing I was always taught is you don't tar everyone with the same fucking brush until proved otherwise. Now, at present, I have personally had no reason not to support the BKKS. Now, for the last 3-4 years now, I think it is, I've been doing koi tubing, and my whole ethos is trying to create a community where there are no barriers, you know. And if that means involving myself in the BKKS, then so be it. If me joining the BKKS puts the word out there even further, it can only be a good thing. Because I know for a fact there ain't that many fucking snobs that watch my stuff. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, going back on that crystal
You
bio,
have absolutely feck all to do with me. You know what, and all that.
What?
Anyway.
Who's using PP?
Anyway, that aside.
But yeah, I see what you mean about that crystal stuff being expensive.
Yes,
100 litres, 234 quid. Which goes to show you minus the 234 from the 495. You can actually pick one up pretty cheap.
Yeah, and that, Gav, is what I'm talking about. Now, if it wasn't for the BKKS putting on the National Koi Show, 90% of us YouTubers would never get the opportunity to physically see and speak to not just our subscribers, but people that go there and have stalls that live miles and miles away that you can never fucking get to normally.
Yep.
You know,
live miles and miles away.
And I'm not saying this because he's in the comments, but everyone I spoke to last year, the highlight of my National Koi Show last year was watching the buzz and excitement from Will running around that fucking stadium at that
with his little autograph book.
With his little autograph book, getting people to sign his autograph because it was his very first koi show. He was meeting people he'd seen on well, at the end of the day, on telly.
Yeah.
Can you see what I mean? So yeah, watching him buzz around that koi show ground like a 5-year-old on Too Many Smarties the night before Christmas. That made my whole fucking show, you know, and that's the spirit that we need in the koi community. And the more people I can encourage into that community, the better.
Yeah, so obviously, first year I'd done Newark. And then second year, last year I'd done Detlin.
You did the All England. This year you're coming to the National.
As long as everything's still sorted out, yeah.
Yeah. Samuel's coming across for the National as well. So, and I know Maureen, she's in the comments from Keeps Koi Haven. She's coming across for the National Koi Show all the way from America, just so she can actually physically meet the likes of me, Shane, Will, and everyone else that she sits there and watches on YouTube, you know, as well as coming to see how we do it in the UK. And it would be really nice after she's been to the national to get her to come on the show and give us her thoughts and comparisons on the show she went to in the States to the show she went to here.
Not quite, Dino. Not quite. We don't go down that tarnish of the divide line.
No, it's not snobbery. I mean, when you go up north, the Great British Koi Show, that's up in Newark. So that's
for us. That's up north. Yes, Will.
Yes, Will.
You best get that drill out and start making them leaves.
She's got a flight booked and everything, mush. Newark is north. Fuck me, anything past Watford Gap is north.
Jesus Christ,
anyway,
I'm up north of Vince.
On a separate note, Dino, how are you feeling today, bud? Dino has been seriously unwell. But
sorry to hear that, mate.
It's probably why he's being chatty. You know, once he starts, you can't shut him up. Like one of them wind-up monkeys, you know?
Yeah, like many people.
He knows I love him, really.
Do they not do Newcastle? I don't think Newcastle has a koi show.
There was a Birmingham mid-staffs. I know.
Yeah, you've got mid-staffs in.
Yeah, you got the Birmingham mid-staffs. Did they have a show last year?
I don't know. If Lisa's still in it, she'll be able to tell us. I'm sure.
I'm sure there was a koi show.
Yeah, there was one last year because Davey was in there.
No, that was the year before.
Was it the year before?
Yeah, that was the year before because he actually won with a Sakura Ogon that I had grown on that came from Adam Byer Koi Farm.
Mm-hmm.
Which he sadly lost when he hit. Love you too, Dino.
Yes,
September, Birmingham.
Yep, ours is September, Birmingham, not last year.
Yeah,
new place this year.
Yeah, well, Birmingham is still north, isn't it? But like I say, to me, I don't think past the Watford Gap's north.
Yep.
Well.
Aye. What's everyone else got planned for the week?
Me? Well, down the farm tomorrow.
Yep.
I don't know what we got planned for tomorrow. But if I'm not wrong,
fuck's sake, Dino,
give it a rest. Fucking hell, you and your fucking Tory rants. Thatcher died fucking years ago.
Yeah.
And I know most don't like her, but at least she had more balls than half of the fucking male prime ministers we've had since. That's for fucking sure.
Oh yeah.
Could you imagine Tony Blair back then in the Falklands?
He would have got bent over and taken up right straight up the sphincter.
You know, Falklands happened. She said, "Fuck it, send them in." Bosh, quash, job done.
Birmingham show is in Kiddie this year.
Kiddie?
Yo, Jens, how you doing, buddy?
Chris, yes, it is easy. I've told you this one before. You get yourself some wham boxes. Yeah, cut the bottom out, leaving about an inch around the bottom. Get yourself some egg crate. Drop the egg crate in the bottom, media on top, put the lid on, cut a hole out, next one on, rinse and repeat. Spray bar in, 1.25 pipe.
But Andy, I know a few people that have tried that artificial grass in the filters and they said it did work.
Jamie, why would you put AstroTurf in your filter? That will end up clogging up, mate, because there is not enough holes for anything to go through. You'll probably find that will clog up pretty darn quickly, especially if you're suffering with
got holes in it, right?
What food are you feeding?
Yeah, because that was the main thing we found out before was the part of the issue was that food. Another one, Gav, as you know, is
there's a show in Newcastle this year. Alan Tate and Lee Hadfield are doing. I take it that they're doing, not going.
I'm guessing they're going to it. I don't think they'll be setting one up.
Set me all the bits and I'll build it.
Yeah, Kiddie as in Kidderminster.
All right. Yeah, it's going down, mate. It's going down. I managed to get my tablets Friday afternoon, and I double dosed Friday afternoon, and then I took my nightly dose, and yeah, it is slowly coming down. Hopefully, it will be gone down completely by the time I get to the forest tomorrow. But I will still be strapped up with my wrist brace because I don't want to be making things worse, because I love being down there twice a week, and you know, if I don't do as I'm told and strap things up, then I'm going to put myself out of action for a few weeks, and then I'll end up pulling my hair out with fucking New Forest Koi Farm withdrawals.
Hey Chris, if you want to also look at another company as well that do the boxes, I was put onto these from Andy from Derby Koi. I can put a link in. Oh no, it's too much of a big link. But it is solventplastics.co.uk. That's where Andy got all these plastics for, containers from to do his DIY backies that are in the filter house.
Oh, right, the Euro crates that he uses.
Yep, the Euro crates that he uses, and
Euro crates
not much at all.
Because Euro crates, you don't have to have a lid because they stack.
Yes.
So all you got to do is just cut the bottoms out and then turn the bottom one into a spillway, and Bob's your uncle, fanny's your aunt.
Yeah, and as I say,
will you be plumbing the air source heat pump into the new pond build? No. Plain and simply.
No.
I like to grow my fish to a point where I've brought out a good chunk of their potential, and then they go into my main pond to continue on naturally then. And it seems to have worked that way, and at the same time it keeps me happy because I like to, don't get me wrong, I love having big fish. I don't like the fucking food bill, but I love having big fish. But at the same time, I do also enjoy having medium to smallish fish in there as well with them, because I think it breaks it up quite nicely. Ikari friend and mealworms.
I'm guessing he means Daz.
Having great results. Well, I can tell you now, from experience, if you are feeding mealworms, you will have a lot of shit generation.
Oh yeah, Same as the black soldier
without a
fly.
shadow of a doubt. Yeah, I hit 18 degrees. And as soon as I hit 18 degrees, I popped out the pot with, I got a mix of 3 in there. I got river shrimp, I got black soldier fly, and mealworms. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had 3 handfuls. They were gone within minutes. Yet the next day, my pond floor was covered in shit.
Yeah. See, I'm not
Now,
using the Sakiakari friend, but I am using the Takazumi friend on the main pond.
oh, mate, you don't want to be using that one. Takazumi friend is their budget one.
Oh, 10 kilos, mate. One complaining. I'm going to mix it.
Yeah, well, what you want to do is get yourself a pot of growth or mix, which is the blue one, and get a pot of Vital. Mix the 3.
Well, I've already got that bag of Vital that you gave me from New Forest.
All right, yeah.
So I could always mix that with it.
Yeah, but yeah, I would thin it out with something. Teresa, Simon's
So
in
yeah,
as well.
there's always that.
That's
Yeah,
good.
no
I've
worries,
been trying
Lisa.
to sort my ponds out, but not big camera, but it's difficult.
Jesus Christ,
Oh,
Jamie.
mate.
Sorry to hear that, mate.
Oh, mate. You fucking take it easy. Health and family always comes first. Health and family always comes first. Without a shadow of a doubt. Right.
Oh, yes.
Right. Lisa has sent you
Yeah.
adverts on Telegram, Shane. You
Yeah.
can pop them. The reason he says that, Simon, is because the fry have come into contact with absolutely nothing. And even though they're in a net, if you put them into the main pond, for instance sake, there is that possibility that there might be something on the fish that you don't know about that they're doing absolutely great with, but the introduction of the fry could adversely affect the fry growth and so forth. Can you see what I mean? If that makes sense.
Bear with me, guys.
Cheapest auto feeder that's any good is the one that I've found. It's, well, I haven't found it. Ricky found it. It's the Londa, LONDA auto feeder. You can program it for 4 feeds a day. It won't do any more than 4 feeds a day, but you have got a length period of time that it kicks pellet out. But I've seen them on Amazon, I think, for £80, which isn't bad. They are battery operated, but Rick uses them down the farm. So that tells you what you need to know, really. I know Gaz has been out and bought one. I've got one. Rocket Boy's got one. In fact, my one in the next week, because we should be full very soon on the Twisted Rocket Pond, but my one will be going on there. And I'm actually going to be testing something in the fact that I'm going to feed 4 feeds a day, but I'm going to set it to 2 feeds in the day and 2 feeds in the night. Now, I know Rick's going to be doing a food trial on his 2 ponds, and what I've suggested to Rick is that I'm going to be feeding Vitality on our pond. Rick's going to be feeding Vitality on one of his ponds, and the other pond is going to be fed on Saki Akari.
Yeah.
So,
I thought one of them was being fed on Munga.
yeah, well, the Munga mix will go across the board. So then everything is still fed fairly.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
So what I've said to Rick is, if he sets his auto feeder that's feeding the Vitality, he feeds his 4 times a day, day to day, so day start to day finish, and I'll set ours to feed twice in the day and twice in the night to see if it makes any difference. Because all three ponds will be fed Munga mix in between, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, and then over the winter we're going to look at doing light trials and stuff. So which one's this? Is this?
This is the mid staffs.
Yeah.
This is the mid staffs one, going on 7th and 8th of September.
Cool.
So if anybody, what I'll do, Lisa, for you as well is later on nearer the time, I will repost these, but I will post these as a community post for you as well.
Yeah, yeah. Send me the pictures as well. Pop the other one up.
Yeah. And I have to close that down to get the other one. And then, why is that not? Stop that screen and then show again. I'll work this out because I haven't done this very often. And there's the other one, the Junior Koi Show, end of season, 5th and 6th of October.
Right. Awesome, awesome. See, there is shows up north. Right. Dan, is that Dan Crawford?
No worries, Lisa.
I have a question. Should I use any form of filters on 6-week old fry? I'm just starting out. I have a Nexus, but I feel it's too big for them at the moment. Yes, filtration would be good. Now, the Nexus itself isn't a problem. It's the speed that you pull it through at. Now, is it a pump-fed Nexus or is it a gravity-fed Nexus? Because it's a gravity-fed Nexus, then I would hold off on throwing it on unless you've got some kind of grilling over the bottom drain that is big enough to stop the fry from going down. Trust me, been there, done that on not
many
just
occasions.
On gravity, not on, just on gravity fed easy pods, but pump fed ones as well. I had 6-week-old fry go through the pump and end up in the outer ring of the easy pod.
Yep, and there's videos to prove it.
And it bloody good. Quite a few of them didn't even damage them either.
Some of them ended up in the shower as well, if I remember correctly.
No, they didn't end up in the shower, but they did end up in the old shed when I had the pump fed easy pod, because I was gravity feeding the pump. And yes, I managed to catch quite a few out of the outer ring of the easy pod, and that was because they were just straight up through the, and that was with a fine mesh as well.
Personally, yes.
What you have?
It makes your well, I've used some of the coppins before, and it absolutely annihilated my water quality. Absolutely annihilated my water quality.
Right.
Now he's got it. Yeah.
Right. It all depends on which one you get. Now this one, right? This one is the spirulina. This is the one that Rick uses on the farm for everything that he's growing. He uses a combination of 6mm and 3mm pellets. And I've been feeding it now since just before the season started, because I actually said that I was going to give the Takazumi a miss this year. For the first time in about 18 years of using Takazumi, I thought, all right, I'm going to give it a try. Because I've spent so much time down the New Forest, and I've also seen the results that have been achieved down at the New Forest.
All right, so Dan said he's pump fed. Are you on a variable very flow?
Yeah, are you on a Veriflow? If so, what size Veriflow is it, and how slow can you get it to go?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
There's also, you could get yourself a basket, very much like I've done on the IBC tank.
Yep. Or as Rick would say, you could always get a mosquito pram net.
Well, yeah, that as well. But if you get a basket, put your pump in the middle of said basket, and
I
then
know what you mean.
wrap it with mosquito net, you've got less chance of sucking the fry to the side of the container, which will then damage them, kill, etc.
Or as I think it would be G, when he done his, he got the 10-gallon bucket, put the holes in the sides to allow the water to come through, and then you could pretty much use that same netting, that 0.5, that mesh that I've got down there,
some net around it,
little squares, and then just cover the holes up with the mesh.
Fine.
That will stop any
literally just
through.
wrap the fucking bucket, zip tie it to the pipe.
Yeah, you could do it that way, but this stuff's quite rigid.
I mean, you look at the pumps we were using Thursday down the farm, and we were doing fry ponds.
Yeah.
It was literally pump gauge, wrapped in mesh, zip tied, chucked in the pond.
Yeah.
You know, but I have had absolutely
no issues with that.
No issues feeding the spirulina. Now, there are Coppins foods out there that will.
Yeah, the one that I used was the one that Adam uses, one that Adam sells, and he says basically it's Coppins.
But but there is
the other version.
Coppins does so many different
they do
variations.
Even the JPD, I believe it is also made in the Coppins factory.
Yeah, but to a certain recipe.
Yeah.
I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't even attempt to read that writing on there. But like I say, I've been feeding this since before the season started now, and my water is still crystal clear. Okay, I am going to change my filter system because I'm fucked up. Yeah, it's not that they are fucking good filters, but at this moment in time, I'm stretching myself a bit thin to keep maintaining them. So I've got to look at something different, because
it's the only problem when you start getting busy. You know, when you're here, there, and everywhere, and doing that, something that's always going to take a side hit.
And actually, you know, part of the furniture and the fittings down there now, you know, and it just, it wouldn't be right not going down there this week, whichever day it was. But we're hoping, touch wood, to get some spawning done at the end of the week.
Yep.
Oh, Lisa, mine, they just haven't stopped yet. You'd have to check the website, Jamie. Failing that, give them a ring. They're open till 4. Failing that, they'll be open tomorrow morning at 9:30. Ask for Carl. He'll sort you out. But yeah, that's the spirulina. Now, if you're going on New Forest Koi Farm's website, what you will be looking for is the vitality. And that is that one there. And that's the spirulina 6ml. But the writing on there is so fucking small. I don't think even with my glasses I'd be able to fucking read it. But yeah, the vitality, Jamie.
Which is one I've got.
Oh, I reckon you'll be all right, Simon. As long as you've got one of your returns going into that fry net, I reckon you should be all right. When I got my new fish, I got some food. He was feeding, and then a week more went green. And the algae was waving hello.
Yeah, I know the kind of.
Oh, brilliant! But no, I've like I say, I've spent the last almost 2.5, 3 years, coming close now, actually doing stuff on the farm with the guys and seeing what is
Who wants to talk
produced.
coffins?
There's my internet playing up again.
So if we go to the spirulina, and you can download the information leaflets if you wish to. But on the 3ml, you've got 37% protein, 7% fat, 1.8% of crude fiber, 10.3 of ash, and the other one I'm not going to pronounce because I know for a fact I'll screw it up, is at 70, where the 6ml is exactly the same. And that's good for clay, color, float in, sustainable feed index of an A, flavored with insect meal, omega-3. But yeah, obviously, if you click on the download the information, it'll probably give you a lot more of the ingredients.
Yeah, but everyone that knows me and knows of my channel will know that, you know, I have been the biggest advocate for Takazumi Koi.
I know. Takasumi sales are going to fucking drop through the roof. Everyone, if you have shares in Takazumi because Vince was using it, pull them.
Mate, I've tried getting in touch with Takazumi one way or another for years.
Oh no, they're
and
hard
then
to
found
get
out that the way the way to Takazumi was through Evolution Aqua.
Yeah.
And I've been that straight out the window. Yeah, okay, Simon. Is there any way? Yeah, we'll send me some pictures later, and we'll have a brainstorm. Oh, but yeah, if you're going on a New Forest website, then you're after the vitality. But if you're going to go to Coppins Direct, you want the spirulina, and that is what I am feeding at this present moment in time. And
at the moment, though, on the website, it doesn't actually give you a price.
What, on Coppins? Go to New Forest Koi website
Yeah, it's going to shut it. I know it is. As soon as I open another tab.
Type in.
Yep, knew it was going to do that.
Type in fatality. Since we're chatting about it, we might as well. Would you rent me an aquabomb?
Joys of having two screens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which one? 3 or 6? Go 3, wouldn't you?
The 6 mil one that I've got here.
Oh, you got the 6. £7 a bag, or you can go for, if you go for the 15 kg, then it's 70 quid.
70 quid for 15 kilos.
Yep. Yeah, Simon, exactly, mate. I bought 2 or 3 the other day, 30 quid a piece.
Right,
obviously,
Dan,
they're going to take me
would
a
you
while to grow
recommend
them on.
an aquabomb start the filtration? So, if so, how long would you wait before introducing fry? Also, what's the best way of cleaning K1? Right, is the K1 brand new or is it second hand? Either way, douse it in a dose of PP for 12, 24 hours, rinse it all off, chuck it in. As for the pond bomb fry, the one of the best and quickest ways to get your filters to kickstart is with fish.
Yep. Fishing cycle.
Yep. Or if you wanted to, you could fishless cycle it with either urea, is it, or AdBlue, one or the other.
Yeah.
Basically, you add ammonia to the body of water to get the filters to start the filtration process without fish actually pooping in the water. But
yeah, so I done mine originally on the small pond using the bio balls, but I put them in about 3 weeks to a month before any fish came. Oh yeah, that's growth. My bad. Not the towel. Good spot. No one else did. No one else spotted that. Well done. Good test. 110 quid then.
I'm just going to go and
the
get
towel.
What, for a 15 kilo?
Yeah. Black Country pissed in his pond. Yeah, haven't heard of him doing it, but I know for a fact that I have seen some aquarium hobbyists turn around and say that they have peed in their tanks to start their cycle. I think it's silly. You can do it other ways using other things that are proven and recommended for it. I would not recommend going and drink 2 liters of water and then going to go and drain the main vein in the pond.
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
Well, right, that's great. Thank you very much, guys. Just trying to get it all right before I run out and buy some koi.
Yeah.
Well, if you have any issues, Dan, just drop me an email. Email address is in the channel description, and we'll sort you out from there. Other than that, if there's no more questions, I think we've rattled on enough for this Sunday. Because neither of the other two are available, did you want to come back here this time next week? Or do you want me to go, or do you want us to go over to your channel?
I don't mind. either way, you know, if anyone wants to come over to mine, they're more than welcome. I'm not
Okie
sure if I'm
dokie.
going to
So,
be able to get any videos out or anything like that anyway next week. So it's going to be a
so you'll have plenty
couple of
to
quiet
talk
weeks on
about
mine.
then.
Huh?
You'll have plenty to talk about then. But no Wiccan.
Yeah.
This is a nice dark pellet. Got a nice fishy smell to it. I haven't got any teeth, so I can't crunch it.
I've used
Oh, look.
most pond ball liquid. On honest opinion, I've noticed no difference between the testing levels. Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's not bad, actually.
You're just eating a fucking Coppen's pellet. We always said there's something
that wasn't
fishy
bad.
about you.
Hey, you know what to say, don't you? Can't beat them,
Don't knock
join
it till you try it. Yeah.
They,
But yeah, on that
I don't
one,
mind
guys.
a pellet on its own, but you won't get me swallowing that munga mix. Fuck me, that stinks of garlic. I hate garlic.
Mealworms then.
But thank you very much, guys, for joining us along this afternoon. A big thank you to Kashi for joining us as well.
Yes, I will.
I crunched it. All right. They ain't that hard to crunch because I've only got 4 teeth and gums. On that bombshell, I've been Twisted K.
I've been Herts, and
and we will catch you next week. 2 o'clock, guys.
See you all later. Take care.
See ya.
Good one.